Hello, welcome to Compassionate Mediation, Tools for Your Practice and Your Life. My name is Linda Kroll, and for 35 years, I've been working with individuals and couples to help them either add passion to their marriage or compassion to their divorce. I also help with spiritual and personal growth. And I have a compassionate mediation training and certification for other professionals, therapists, mediators, attorneys, coaches, and clergy who work with individuals and couples in conflict. So I'm so grateful for you joining me today because I have so much I want to share with you. And in the next 30 minutes or less, I want to give you so many tools that you can use now to make changes in your relationship, if it's the reason you're here, or to begin to help your clients go even deeper into healing and relationship transformation. So let's start by hoping that this is a sign you've been looking for, that if you're looking for some coaching, information, guidance, or support for your own relationship. Now, this could be a relationship with your partner, with your a friend, family member, and whatever it is, you can get some healing in transforming that relationship. And if you're in private practice or in a practice where you help others, hopefully you're going to find a lot of tools and techniques that you can use today. So if you have a pen and paper, I'm going to be giving a lot of links to a lot of resources that I want you to take advantage of. So let's first take a breath. I'm always so excited to share all that I've done in my 35 years and grateful for those of you who are listening. And I think that taking a breath brings us back into the present moment. I have so many things that I want to offer you. You have so many things that you're probably simultaneously doing right now. So let's just take a breath and come forward and begin, because I want you to get the information you need, all the guidance and support you need to learn a transformational process that's going to help you get all the tools and techniques you need to resolve your own conflict or to help your clients resolve theirs. And what is conflict? Conflict is about money, sex, parenting, responsibility. People can be having affairs. Conflict can be in the way people communicate. So however there is conflict showing up in your life or your clients' lives, these tools and techniques will help you today. Because what I offer is a new paradigm in conflict resolution called compassionate mediation. And it's basically emotional and spiritual healing along with legal and financial information or support, so that a couple, for instance, can decide if they want to create a new and better relationship together or end their relationship and part ways peacefully and respectfully. It also helps with mediation in the workplace, mediation in a family. Once you learn how to compassionately communicate, you can begin to make the changes you need to create the relationships you truly desire and deserve. So, moving on, I believe that a lot of times people stay in relationships when they could leave or should leave, and they leave when they could stay if they just knew how. So personally, you might be making that choice of whether to stay or go just because you don't know how to communicate. So I want to give you some tools for that today. Oftentimes in private practice with an individual or couple that isn't sure if they want to stay or go, a practitioner, a therapist, or coach gets nervous about what to do next. Do I still counsel them? Do I still guide them? But you don't have the information you might need to share with them that I want to show you how to get. So it's to create a better relationship, no matter what form it takes in the future. And to tell you a little bit about me, I became an attorney many, many years ago, and then I became a mediator. I got my therapy degree in 35 years ago, studied with Dick Schwartz in the internal family systems therapy. And then I went to the Chopra Center, where I studied with Deepak Chopra, David G., and Claire Diab, and learned how to be a teacher of meditation, yoga, and Ayurveda. And all of that is blended in what I do and was put into my book, Compassionate Mediation, How to Add Passion to Your Marriage or Compassion to Your Divorce. And Dick Schwartz, who is the founder of Internal Family Systems, gratefully to me said that compassionate mediation is relationship healing at its best. So I want to offer you the first tool, which is to go get a free chapter. LindaKrollBook.com will give you a free chapter of the book so that you can have access to it now. And I also created Compassionate Divorce to change the face of divorce one heart at a time. And you can find that on Kindle. I also offer you, and we'll talk more about it later, the Compassionate Mediation Toolkit. And the reason I'm offering you the toolkit and want you to have access to it, even if you have to leave soon, is that in the toolkit, you're going to get a relationship assessment that will help you gauge how you're showing up in your relationship now. How much self-leadership do you have? How much do you know about your financial rights and responsibilities? How trusting are you in your own ability to make good decisions moving forward? So you get a relationship assessment, you get the free chapter, and you also get a course that I gave on compassionate communication. So that's all in the Compassionate Mediation Toolkit. And the reason I want to offer you the toolkit is because when you learn how to compassionately communicate, then you can create a new relationship. And I also want to talk a little bit about, to guide you in the direction of learning more, about my compassionate mediation program for individuals and couples, and my compassionate mediation trainings and certifications for other therapists and coaches to get continuing education credits. But more on that later. Let's take a breath and talk about compassionate communication, because that is actually how conflict is resolved. It's how you communicate from your best self, letting go of all those limiting beliefs and judgments that you have about yourself, about your partner, about your parent, about your child, unburdening your pain from the past and relating from your heart. And those are the 4 steps of compassionate communication that put you in the direction of resolving conflict. Now, how do you do that? It's not what you're doing, it's who you are being. Okay, so what does that mean? When you're in self, capital S self, you make calm, clear decisions. You're compassionate for yourself and the other person. You're confident in knowing what you want and need, which many people forget or don't pay enough attention to. You stay connected with the other person or the process of counseling, or if you're going through a separation or divorce, you stay connected. You don't disconnect or disassociate. You have your courage to face all the challenges involved in whatever your next step is going to be. And you can co-create reasonable compromises while you stay curious about the other person's point of view. So that's how to be in self. And when you are in self, as I tell my clients, when we're in self, we're in touch with that calm, clear, compassionate energy. You know those moments? They're not often, but we're in self sometimes. And when we're in self, we're all those other C words and grateful. But we're often in parts. And this is what gets in the way when we're having conflict. Because we learned in childhood to exile those parts of ourselves that felt sad or scared or hurt or vulnerable. We pushed it away. But that sometimes we push away and we exile our anger too. And until we learn how to speak for our anger, we stuff it. And it's the what about me? Who's going to love and care for me the way I need? And then we go out in the world and we manage. Some of us manage by being nice and pleasing and caretaking, hardworking, sarcastic. But we often put on what I call a pseudo self, where you look like you're in self, but you're really feeling those exiled feelings of hurt, sad, scared. And so what you do sometimes is we get extreme. We act out. We numb in some way. We get addicted to things, drugs, alcohol, shopping, gambling. Some people go have an affair, get enraged, get depressed, have a panic attack, go hire a lawyer and say, get me divorced. Deep breath. I want to help you get to self. And all the gifts that I'm giving you today will send you in that direction. Because the 5 steps for resolving conflict to have in your toolbox to bring your self energy in. And when I'm talking self, I'm talking that connection to your soul, your spirit, your higher power, that calm, witnessing awareness inside of you, where you have compassion for everything you're feeling in your relationship, but you also have compassion for the other person. And then you create a compassionate relationship with the miracle of empathy. And I'm going to show you how to get more on that too. Because once you can empathize with each other, then you can talk about everything and make decisions for your future. which may include putting boundaries in the relationship, which may include ending the relationship. But you have to get to self-led, compassionate communication first. And then to resolve conflict, you need to know your options, because sometimes people feel stuck between, do I want to stay? Do I want to go? Do I have to settle for this? Or do I have to disassociate totally? No, there's a rainbow of options that you can explore before you make any decisions. And if you're on the verge of leaving your relationship, you need to understand your rights and responsibilities so that you can make an informed, courageous, confident decision rather than stay in the dark about what's possible. And then when you do all that, you can create new and better relationships with people that you're going to stay connected to or move on in very kind and compassionate ways. We can change the face of divorce one heart at a time. We can make a difference in the way people communicate, and we can fix marriages. So you can fix your own. I often tell people it's not about fixing or saving it. It's about creating something new and better together based on who you both are now and what you both want and need. You may be compatible, you may not, but you can learn how to have those conversations. And sometimes having the courage to talk about an ending can lead to a new beginning. Because sometimes when people are in counseling or marriage counseling, there's a part that's wondering, what would it be if I left? I'm not fully committed. I'm ambivalent. But if you don't have the freedom to talk about that part and what's making you ambivalent and what's making you thinking of leaving, you're not really sharing as intimately as you need to create a new beginning. So in the Compassionate Mediation Toolkit, again, you're going to get a relationship assessment. You're going to get a free chapter of my book explaining all of this in detail. And you're going to get my Compassionate Communication video series, which teaches you a little bit more about this. Because you can create a new marriage instead of just talking at each other. Do you notice how a lot of times people get in the habit where they want to make their point, they want to be understood, but they're not really listening. They don't take a pause, they don't reflect back what they've heard. And you never get a chance to really communicate because you're just talking at each other. But you can practice the miracle of empathy. Deep breath with me here. Empathy is a miracle. And there's another link to that tool. lindakroll.com/empathy takes you to a video and a handout on how to share empathy with your partner or with anyone else in your life. Because what you learn how to do, instead of losing confidence that you'll ever be able to communicate, you learn to use I messages, not you messages, not you're being mean or you're being unfair or you're neglecting me, but I feel sad, I feel hurt, I feel scared. And then the other party can listen and hear you because they're not being judged or attacked. And I encourage you when you're using I messages to use hurt, sad, and scared. Because even if you're frustrated, even if you're thinking of leaving, you're frustrated because there's things that are happening that are causing you to feel hurt and sad. So have the courage to use those words. And then who's ever listening can empathize with your feelings instead of your judgments, because your judgments just turn them off in the other direction. So don't start empathy with you messages, start with I messages, with those exiled feelings of hurt, sad, and scared. And then if you're listening with empathy, you learn to listen to the hurt, sad, and the hurt and the sadness and the fear underneath the person that you're speaking with. They have those too. You can listen, you can understand, and you can let them know you feel it. And I have handouts in the Miracle of Empathy that teaches you how to do that, because you can break free from destructive patterns. And a lot of us have destructive patterns. We learn them in our family of origin. We learn them in other relationships, but we don't have to stay that way. We can create new relationships based on being your highest self, showing up to give up the limiting beliefs, the filters, the walls around your heart that are keeping you distant, to really unburden the pain from your past so you're not bringing it with you into the present and projecting it into the future, and relate from your heart. And when you relate from your heart, you create a whole new relationship. And There are people who have worked with me who have come in for divorce and left creating a whole new marriage because they learned how to compassionately communicate about all the issues that were stuck in the past because they finally learned the miracle of empathy. I do believe families need not be broken, but can be peacefully and respectfully restructured. And restructuring families is what you can do for your own relationship and what you can do if you work with individuals and couples in conflict. Because there can be a compassionate divorce. You can help people create something new and better together. So the toolkit, again, has the relationship assessment, the free chapter, and the compassionate communication course, and it's available to you now. I love this statue from Burning Man, where two people who have their backs to each other really have their inner children yearning to connect. And when you learn how to speak for your vulnerable parts, your sad, hurt, scared parts, and when you can listen to someone else do the same, even if you get divorced, you can create a compassionate restructuring of your family. And if you have children, your children can feel safe in both environments. So no matter what you're using these tools for, what can be done is to process your feelings, acknowledge your own behavior and relationship, do some deep healing and unburdening, and be willing to forgive. Whether you stay with your partner, whether you put boundaries up with someone in your life, forgiveness will set you free. So I want to help with those of you who are practitioners who are listening, who need some tools for your practice. And these tools will also help those of you who are listening. Because at lindakroll.com roadmap, I give you the overview of the whole compassionate mediation process and includes how to do an initial interview where you get all the details right away. A lot of times when clients come to your office, you may feel that you have to listen for a session or two and they go on and you don't really get to help them. But with my interview and my self and parts introduction, the magic wand question, miracle of empathy, 5 steps to receive, and the self up the mountain guided meditation, in the first session, you can make a difference with your clients. And if it's your relationship, you can get this information and use it for practice in your own relationship. Because you can fill out a budget form no matter where you are in your relationship, because finances are often a form of a reason for conflict. But if you get on the same page and create a new dynamic where you feel like equal and informed partners moving forward, that resolves conflict better than thinking about a separation or divorce. Because if you do think about a separation or divorce, you still have to talk about finances. So find a way to have a self-led conversation about what you each want and need, what your expectations are, what the realities of your assets and debts and future earnings and responsibility. And you can do that by looking at a budget form. I also offer you my settlement prayer and intention, which is what I gave my husband when we were getting divorced, which was actually a prayer that I wrote, that we come from our highest and best self, and for the benefit of our future, remember the love we once had and hopefully could create a friendship in the future and create 2 separate homes for ourselves and our children based on mutual respect and kindness. And we did that, and I've helped other people do that. And I want to help those of you who work with individuals and couples to give you the content that you can give them, but also help them process their feelings as they're moving through the content. I've used psychodrama, unburdening, the boardroom, how to tell your children what to know about divorce. That's all available to you. And get the roadmap, and I'll tell you how to learn more. Because what we do is we help ourselves and our clients go from heartache to hope, to healing, to happiness. And in the roadmap, you'll then be offered a chance to have a conversation with me where I can talk about how this roadmap can help your practice, where you can help your clients be their best self, create a compassionate relationship, explore their options, understand their finances, and create the relationship they truly desire and deserve. And again, the miracle of empathy, lindakroll.com empathy, gives you a template, a video, a handout on how to begin to have those dialogues, to make the changes you need to make in your relationship. I also want to offer you my compassionate communication self-care kit, because that guided meditation is the guided meditation I give everyone that comes to see me. It's a way to acknowledge the parts of you that you exile, that you manage with, that you get extreme with, and to get to that place where you do have compassion for everything that you're feeling. But then from that compassionate witnessing presence, you have more compassion for what the other party is feeling. Thich Nhat Hanh has said that the way to resolve conflict is to go to one party and tell them about the pain and suffering of the first party, and then go to the other party and tell them about the pain and suffering of that party. So what you want to do is you want to realize that no matter what's going on in your relationship right now, whatever is causing you conflict, how you're ever showing up can be improved. It can be improved with empathy. It can be improved by doing your own self-care and self-healing. It can be improved by going to counseling, talking to someone who does compassionate mediation, taking one of my programs or one of my trainings. There's so much you can do to make a difference now. So just to recap, I have a program for individuals and couples. It's 6 hours of me talking to you directly as if you were with me personally. And the reason I did that is because my practice was full. There were a lot of people that I wanted to help, but I couldn't see them, and the cost of seeing me was often prohibitive. So I put it together in an online program that has handouts, videos, live trainings with me, where you can decide what you want to do about your relationship. And the link to that is compassionatemediation.info. And the compassionate mediation training and certification, I'm going to tell you a little bit about that too. So in compassionatemediation.info, you'll learn about the modules that we have. And just imagine where you are right now, whatever you're feeling, whatever's causing you stress or heartache or frustration. Imagine a month from now feeling better, sooner even. But you can get through this program. You could actually get through it in a weekend, but you can get through it and start making changes in your own personal viewpoint and in having the conversations you need to have. So you can check that out at compassionatemediation.info. And as far as the certification goes, I'd love for you to apply if you'd like to learn more. It is an application process because I take people who are aligned with personal and spiritual growth and who are willing to learn a new paradigm of conflict resolution that you can begin sharing with your clients. So please, if you're interested at all, please sign up for a call. They do fill up soon, but I'd love to see if it's a fit. I'd love to see how whatever I've learned in my 35 years can benefit you now, whether you choose to join me in the certification or not. So in my program and trainings, you get the miracle of empathy. I help you process all your feelings. I help you make decisions moving forward. And I give you all the options for you to know or for your clients to know. Because when you know the options, whether it's going on a date, going to marriage counseling, writing a postnuptial, separating, legal separation, divorce, whatever the options are, there's so many trailheads to other ways to communicate that once you know the basics, you can help so many people and help yourself. And I give you the roadmap with questions, scripts, templates, guided meditations, and private coaching with me. So please check out what I'm offering, because people do come to me looking for mediated documents and walk away with hope and peace. And that's what I want you to be able to do for yourself and for you to be able to do with your clients. So the mistakes I'd love to help you avoid if you're a practitioner, and if you're looking at it from your own perspective, don't get lost in your story. Don't keep telling yourself the same story over and over again, because what that does, it just keeps you locked in the same story. In the initial interview that you can do in the program, as you look at how you got to where you are now, what was your family of origin like? What does your partner do that triggers you? What do you do that triggers your partner? When you start to recognize all those facts that you may have been not paying attention to, you can change the dynamics. Also, don't avoid talking about a separation or divorce, because when you're healing conflict, all parts are welcome, including the parts that say, I'm not sure I want to be in a relationship with you. And this is relevant if you're dealing with parents, if you're dealing with children, if you're dealing with a coworker, if you're dealing with addiction. There's some times where you have to put boundaries and end a relationship so that you are safe, but allow all parts to be seen and spoken for. Don't make the mistake of not knowing your options, because if you don't know your options, you're in black and white thinking, you stay stuck and you don't know what to do next. So learn all the options. And if you're a therapist or coach, don't refer out too soon. Just because a client is thinking of a separation or divorce doesn't mean you have to send them to a mediator or to an attorney. You can learn what you need to learn to give them the information that will lead to weeks and months of counseling. Meaning, once you bring up assets, once you bring up finances, people start to have all kinds of reactions. And you can help them talk about it calmly, compassionately, self-led. And when they start talking about the house, you don't have to help them decide what they're going to do with the house. But when you talk about the house, all kinds of emotions come up. You can give them content and then spend weeks and months helping them process their feelings. And you can be a font of support and information and guidance for them. And don't give up on counseling, whether you're in it for yourself or you're offering it to your clients, because you can be a resource for years, and these programs and offerings that I'm giving you are going to be resources that you can use for years. So if you have any challenges working with couples in conflict, if sometimes an angry participant triggers you and you side with the underdog, or you feel you're not a mediator or a lawyer, or you don't know what to do when divorce is mentioned, or you don't know how to stay in self when your clients are in conflict or someone in your life is in conflict with you, then the certification will help you get a powerful interview, teach the miracle of empathy, help you help your clients explore their options, understand their legal and financial rights and responsibility, and create a new relationship using all the skills that I give you that you can give them. So again, there's a relationship assessment at Linda Kroll RA. There's a toolkit that has a relationship assessment in it. The care kit has the guided meditation. The roadmap has all the information you need to learn this process and sign up for a short call with me. And in that short call, I just want to meet you where you are and offer you 15 minutes of my personal guidance and coaching. And if it feels like it's a fit, then we'll set up another session to talk about certification. So hopefully I've offered you many options today that will help you see that there are many tools available for you now, and I want to give them to you. So thanks for joining me. You can reach me by any of the links that I've shared. I'll put this one back on. And let me help you help yourself in your relationship. And please let me help you help your clients. Because in my 35 years, I've written the books, I've created the handouts, the templates, the videos. I offer them to you. And I'm so grateful that you've joined me and that you're curious, and let's stay connected. So thanks for being here, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye for now.